All right. Welcome everybody to the Tuesday afternoon call. I'm super excited for this call. We have a special guest here. I'll give her a proper introduction in just 1 minute, but I want to remind you guys, the Fire and Flow sample workout came out. You can find it on Vimeo. We're still in the middle of the gut health. So, do what works best for you. You don't have to jump from one program to the next. For me specifically, like I'm going through physical therapy for my shoulders. So I'm doing 3-week yoga retreat and continuing with the gut health program. Remember to share your transformations and your progress, not just in the challenge group, but in the team page so that we can share, have those stories to share. I'll give you guys an idea. I'm down in 5 weeks with the gut health, down 13 pounds, which is awesome. I feel much better. I was doing body beasts and lifting and thinking I was getting all bulked up until I was in the DR and saw some pictures from behind. And I was like, nope, I am not bulking up. I am eating too much cereal at night. So the gut health has really helped me out, like 13 pounds, and I feel really awesome. So that's working out well for me. When Fire and Flow comes out, hopefully my shoulders feeling better. I'll do that, and I'll probably just continue with the gut health. So do what works best for you. But I would highly suggest sharing, like reaching out to 100 people and asking them if they want to try out a new sample of our newest program and plant that seed and let them try that free workout. I saw Melissa just hop on. I want to give a shout out to Melissa Zeidler. She signed up 2 new coaches this week. So shout out to Melissa for that. And shout out to each and every one of you guys that are on here. I know, also shout out to Sean Bourguignon in Canada. He just started the gut health program. I saw him sharing on his social media about what his containers look like and the food and that. So awesome job with that. Michael has lost 13 pounds, 6 inches since starting the gut health. So congrats to you, Michael. By the way, Michael is not a coach yet. He'll be a coach next Monday. He's going to become a coach on our team, but I invited him to this team call to kind of see what it's all about. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Sam. I'm going to give a little backstory. I'm from a small town in Idaho Falls, and I first started building out locally and then started working on, Facebook at the same time, and met many of our incredible leaders that way. Like Jen Greenberg is one of our first Legacy Club members. She was a 3rd coach I signed. I found her on social media. So as I was building locally, I was also building on social media. But I remember even before my first year was up, I would talk to people at my job, and they would literally say things like this to me, like, you've got Idaho Falls like on lockdown, like there's no room for me to grow this business. And that was in 2012. I remember even 2013, 2014, we became a top 10 team. There's a ton of momentum, excitement, and people be like, man, this place is saturated. And that was an excuse for some people that were building and maybe barely at diamond or beyond. And they just kind of like stopped, thinking that there was no more room for growth. Then comes along in the year 2019, this coach named Sam Lunt. I'll let you guys know Sam is not a part of our team. So I failed my job in reaching out to my daughter's dance teachers. Sam is one of the dance teachers of my daughters who are in competition dance. She's a part of Micah Folsom's team. She lives about 30 minutes from us. But Micah joined in 2019, in September of 2019. And by September of 2020, exactly 1 year later, she had built a 5-star elite team. So in 1 year, she built a 5-star elite team in this small town of Idaho Falls, where I live. So she also had an elite team, not only in 2021, but also in 2022. She's hit Success Club for 31 months consecutively, and she is a SC legend. She's currently in 6-star qualification with her team. So with that being said, I'm going to let Sam take over this call and share her story and some of her tips with us.
Oh my heck. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Scotty. Yeah, I remember the day vividly. I was actually teaching Scotty's little girls, they were teaching dance, and he came in just to use the bathroom, and I was like, "What's Scotty Hobbs?" I was like, "What's he doing here?" And then in my head, I'm like, Mila Hobbs. I'm like, oh, okay, now it's all connected. But I was just like, I can't believe that, because he was, the Scotty Hobbs that I've always heard of. And you live under a rock when you're trying to raise 5 kids. But anyways, I am so honored to be on this call. This is like a huge honor for me because I look up to Scotty so much. But I'm just going to kind of tell you my story. And I love Q&A. I love being able to answer questions from you guys. I love trying to be as relatable as I can. I am an optimist, but I'm also a realist, and I will keep it as real as possible. So ask all the questions. So I'm going to start actually in 2017. I am a dance coach. I've been dancing my entire life. I danced through college, and then my sister opened, our whole family are dancers. My sister opened a studio up here in Idaho Falls, and I have been one of her choreographers and coaches for about 15 years until last year when I decided to stop coaching, just because my 5 kids are older and it was hard to get them to all their places. And I fell in love with Beachbody and just wanted to put my focus that way. But in 2017, I was actually doing choreography for another friend just about 30 minutes away. And I was doing the most simple dance move of all time. If you guys are dancers, it's a chasse. Like literally you teach your 2nd grader to do it. And I ruptured my Achilles heel, completely snapped, no warning of it. It was crazy. And I had to be in a boot for 3 months with no pressure on it. So I was on one of those like riding scooters. I've never wanted to like bonfire a riding scooter more than after that 3 months. It was awful. If you guys have ever had to do that, I feel your pain. And then I had to learn essentially how to re-walk on my foot. After being a dancer my entire life, I couldn't do anything. I gained 40 pounds. I got super depressed, and I reached out to a friend who I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to ride in on my little jazzy scooter in the gym and try to like work out and do things. So I'm like, I got to do something at home. When they finally gave me the go ahead to relearn how to use my foot, I started to use PiYo. And I did the PiYo program twice, lost 45 pounds, and literally was in like better shape than I was being a collegiate dancer. And I was like, whoa, I love this. People started reaching out to me. What are you doing? What's going on? How'd you lose all that weight? How did you rehab your foot so quickly? Like all these different things. I'm like, I did this PiYo program. You should totally do it. And my friend who had given me the PiYo program in Shakeology, by the way, I fell in love with Shakeology as well. She said, you know, you can coach. You're referring all these people to me, but you can coach and you can actually help them and, you know, earn money from it. And I was like, well, I'm already a dance coach. I don't know if I want to dabble in that more. And she's like, well, you don't really have to build the business if you don't want to, you know, different things. And anyways, when I started seeing the checks roll in, I was like, $50. I got $50 just for telling someone to go buy PiYo. I was like, that's fun. I love that. So I just started telling more people, you should do PiYo. You should do PiYo. Like I had all these PiYo loving friends and I was like, let's do this. And my check was just getting bigger and bigger each week. And I'm like, this is really awesome for a mom of 5. I was 4 at the time. So I decided to go to Summit. I went to Summit, saw the whole coach thing, fell in love with everything. And then I got in my head because guess what happened? Coaching started getting hard. It wasn't as easy. I had talked to everybody I knew. It was too hard. And I wasn't going to do that social media thing. So I quit. And I thought the grass was greener somewhere else. I actually decided to go back to school because all of my 4 kids were back in school. And I thought, yeah, I could just go to school while they're in school. Applied for PTA school. I was going to be a physical therapy assistant because like I said, I fell in love with the rehab of my foot and helping people. You know, it just was a part of the process of helping people. And I thought, yeah, I could do that. And immaculately, I got pregnant with our 5th child. I was on birth control. Don't know how it happened. Obviously, the Lord knows, he's in charge. And I had to not go to school. So during my 9 months of pregnancy, my husband says to me, you should do coaching. You loved it, but you should really do it. And that like, a little bit. I was like, what do you mean really do it? I was really doing it. He's like, well, not really, you know, like, and he saw the checks coming in. He saw that it was making income. And he got on calls like with me. He was very supportive. So get your spouse on board to be a supportive spouse. And he's the one that was like, you should really do it. For some reason, I literally Googled Beachbody, Idaho, and Micah came up first. If Scotty came up, I probably would have gone to him, but Micah came up first. So I literally just called up Micah, found her on Instagram, and I was like, after I have my baby, I think I want to do coaching. And she's like, great, let's do it. And she's like, why don't you get started now? And I was like, well, I don't want to. Like, it was just that stubborn mentality, really stubborn. And had my 5th baby. This is where my journey gets a little crazy. I had the worst postpartum depression and anxiety that I'd ever had with any other babies. I actually didn't sleep for 7 days straight after having her. And I was almost hospitalized. It was really, really scary for me and my kids and my husband. He is a nurse, so heaven sent that he was able to help me. He knew how to help me. It was scary. Like, insomnia-induced anxiety is still something that I struggle with now. But I had to be medicated, which thank the Lord for medication. I had to, oh my gosh, so many things. I was seeing counselors. I got so scared that I would never sleep, that I was calling doctor after doctor after doctor. And it was not the time to be a coach. I literally was like, nope, I'm not doing it. Micah reached out to me and she said, let's go, it's go time. And I'm like, I can't, I am so depressed. I'm so anxious. I can barely leave my house. I need to like get this under control. And she really was like, I understand that. She's like, but are the doctors saying you should exercise? Are the doctors saying you should get outside? Are the doctors saying that you should read good books? And I'm like, yeah, my counselors are saying it too. She's like, well, let's just start with that. And I was like, okay, I know I have to do those things anyways. And even Nate was like, you got to get out, like you got to do something. So I dove in with coaching, literally not knowing what I was doing, not wanting to coach. But I went on social media and I said, I am having a hard time. I am going through crazy postpartum depression. I know I need to move my body. I know I need to be surrounded with positivity. I'm going to do this 100-day challenge. It's right when Morning Meltdown 100 came out. And I said, who wants to do it with me? And that's all I said. That is all my post was. And people, my friends were like, I think I could do that. I think I could try that. And I reached out to my sisters and my cousins and just different people because I knew I needed people around me. That was my coping mechanism too, is just to like stay busy, get people to like do things with me and stay busy. And because of that, and because I was so vulnerable with my story, and just literally an open book. And you guys, there's things I didn't share, of course. I mean, you don't have to share your entire life and you don't have to bear it all, but I was just real. I was so real. And I showed the 60 pounds that I was holding from having Beverly. I showed the hard days. I showed the days that I really did not want to show up, and I showed up anyways, and how it changed the rest of the day, and how exercising was helping me sleep, and how this positive community was helping me to get outside and like live life and become the mom of 5 that my kids needed again. Like, it literally changed my life and it saved me. And I think from being a coach before and realize what I was missing and then doing it again, and my mindset just completely shifted from, we'll try this. And if it doesn't work in 3 months, I'm going to quit. That's what I did. In 3 months, it got hard and I quit. To, this is my plan A, which if you need to read, there's no plan B for your A game. This was my plan A. I have to make it work. I'm not going to quit ever. So I just have to like learn as I go. Because that's exactly what I was going to do with physical therapy school. When it got hard, like I already spent all that money. I already put that much work into it. I was going to do it, you know, but instead the Lord said, no, I'm going to teach you how to empathize with people with mental health issues. I'm going to teach you to empathize with your own children, who now I have a daughter who struggles with anxiety. And if it wasn't for that, for the Lord giving me that trial, I would not know how to help her. because the woman before Beverly, the woman before my 5th child, was not empathetic, not patient, was really the person that was like, pull yourself up from your bootstraps, you're fine. Anybody who said they had anxiety or depression, it was like, just get outside, go do something. Like, that was me, mean. And the Lord said, I need to teach you something. And from that, I've led that way. I think for me, I really try to help my coaches and challengers see the bigger vision, see that it's not about just losing weight and looking good. It's about being a completely different human. Your mindset shift of what you thought was possible to what you know you can achieve, being very vision driven. I think that is what shifted for me, and it got really real. When I realized, oh my gosh, I could really do this. And the hard times, I'm just going to try and figure it out and reach out to people and put myself in the arena. Like, there's Super Saturdays and Summit and calls and national wake up calls and everything. There's so much given to us. And I just take it all in because there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn and grow from, where before, the before Sam coach was like not open to anything. And my mind was shut off to everything because I thought, well, it's not working for me, so bye, other things. Like, you have to stay in the arena, lean all in, and just try to soak it all up. And if something's not working for you, like if you're having a hard time hitting Success Club, go talk to someone who's really bomb at hitting Success Club and figure it out. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to create, I guess, more success for yourself and your family. But that's kind of my story. I want to answer, but that's how I felt. I was like, this crazy. Yeah. There's no plan A or plan B for your AM. Do you guys have any questions? I was going to help you as far as how you want to talk to your coaches and challengers leading with vision, but I still wanted to open up for questions, just to kind of see where you guys are at, because I don't want to like throw stuff at you that's not applicable at all.
Oh, I love that. Anybody have any questions? I'm going to throw one out while you guys gather some thoughts. So you have obviously had some challenges. So the 2 years, you were elite 2 years in a row with your team, hit Success Club every single month. What's like a hard challenge that you went through during that time, getting to your team to elite, hitting Success Club every month, and how do you feel you overcame it?
Yeah. I think the challenge is I could have said, I'm new, like, I don't know what I'm doing. If I don't hit Success Club 1 month, it's okay. This is really hard. And I think what shifted is Micah. I knew how successful she was, and I wanted that success. I knew what she had created for her family, and that's why I started in the first place. I think with all of us, there's a reason why we start to coach, because you want, and I don't know what it is. For me, it was the income. It was the positivity and community. And it was creating a life for our family that we've always wanted. Nate, my husband, has a great job. He's a nurse. He works with Abbott Healthcare. He helps with pacemakers, things like that. We are fine, but we don't want to be fine. We want to create more abundance for our family. I want to be able to help my children go to college debt-free. I want to help so many different things. Like, my vision is crazy, but I knew that's what I wanted. And so I said to Micah, what do I have to do to create that income, to create that vision life? And she said, you always have to hit Success Club, and you need to get to elite as fast as you can. And I just figured it out. And the day there was times it was the end of the month and I was like SC4, and I figured it out. Like, I didn't go to bed until I was SC5. Like, there's just something inside you that you have to be like, I'm not willing to live the mediocre life I was living before. I have to change, or else nothing else is going to change. And it's with any other job. If your boss told you had to have so many sales within the week or you're fired, you would do it. Don't tell me you wouldn't. Or if you're a teacher and your kids have to hit a certain percentage on your ISAT or your getting fired as a teacher, you figure it out. I think when it comes to this, it's so easy not to do the things and to give yourself that excuse and that out. I just wasn't willing to do that anymore. And anybody who really said that they wanted to create that, I said, you need to hit diamond as fast as you can, and you need to hit elite as fast as you can, and you need to hit success club every single month. And that's what I told everybody. And that's what I continue to tell everybody all the time when they come in. We got to get there as fast as we can. But I think what really helped me and what Micah has instilled in me is leading with vision. The business is nothing without knowing exactly what they want. For me in my first year, elite for my kids meant Disney World. So when I was working on team calls, when I was on my phone, when I was doing things, my kids would be like, oh, are you working for Disney World? And I'd say, yeah. Every time when mom hits elite, we're going to Disney World. When we hit 5-star elite, we get to go to Disney World. And then we had it on our board, and they had it on their vision boards. And they the family knew what was happening. And do you think on the days that I didn't want to show up, and then my kids were like, hey mom, are you working for Disney World? Do you think I was going to say, no, we're not going to go there anymore. We're not going to do that anymore. No, I will never do that to my kids. And now guess what we talk about? Our Bear Lake cabin. You guys, they're like $1 million. I am nowhere close to that, but I will make a way because they ask me about it. We look on Zillow every single day. We look at them all the time and we're like, ooh, that's a good one. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Like, I will work until that happens. So that would be my first piece of advice, is if you're hiding what you really want and no one knows, like everybody on social media knows that I'm working for a Bear Lake cabin. Everybody, people who don't even support me in my business. And they ask me and they're like, how close are you? How close are you to getting your cabin? And I'm like, probably like 10 years, but we're going to do it. So that vision is huge.
Yeah, that was so many nuggets that came out of that. Lacey said, it sounds like you've hit a wall before. I don't know if you still experience any burnout, but how do you work through the mental and emotional walls?
You know, you guys, it's really hard for me to say that I don't, but I think because I have such a huge why and I listen to my vision every single morning, I don't burn out. Like, I freaking love what I get to do. There's months, yes, that I feel burnout with trying to help women and men know their potential, and they just still don't get it. Like, there's hard times when I have coaches who are literally one coach away from diamond and they just quit. Like, that happened. And then I've had women who've hit diamond and almost 1-star and they're gone. Like, those are the hard times for me, when people don't realize, like, oh, you just got in your head. That's the hardest, is just seeing that. But it's never like, what's the word, like, put out my flame. I just, every morning, you have to listen to your vision. The strongest vision why that I ever did is when we were going to Disney World. I had my kids read my vision and I listened to that every morning. And they were saying things like, Mom, I'm so happy that we're at Disney World. I'm so happy that you hit 5-star elite. This is so exciting. And you guys, this is when I was like an emerald coach. And they said that, like, and I listened to that every morning until it happened. So if you don't have the vision recorded and you don't listen to it every morning, or if you don't read it every morning, there's something to say. Or have your spouse read the vision and tell them, like, have them tell you how proud they are that you have done this for their family. That's huge. So it's hard for me to say. There are times that I've hit a wall, but it's really just when my coaches and even some of my challengers quit on themselves. That's been the hardest part. But I don't feel like I've ever felt burnt out. But I've also only been a coach for 2.5 years. There may come a time, but I've already decided that you don't quit. So there's been hard times. Like, I want to hit SC30 every month. last month, it was so hard to hit SC10 for some reason, but you still do the things. And this month, the goal is still SC30. Like, so I guess just don't get down, but give yourself those non-negotiables that you're willing to work for. SC5 will pay for your product. SC10 will pay for your product and start giving you an income. So I guess think of it that way too.
Yeah.
I saw one that said, I have a daughter who also suffers from anxiety. What are some suggestions you've made for your daughter? Yeah. So everything that I do, she journals at night. She comes and talks to me at night, and all of her worries, I kind of just try to put in real life scenarios. She really worries. The other day, their school actually got on lockdown because a kid from a different school who had been doing drugs, like there was a police chase next to so they were like locked down in the school. She got super anxious. And I said, well, what's around you? Are you safe? Is everything locked down? And she's like, yeah, you just have to kind of make everything real, because all anxiety is worrying about a future thought. So you just try to get them present and you just talk it through. But that's just things that I've learned through counseling. So counseling is great. She did counseling for a while too. But yeah, keeping her off her phone, keeping her eating not a lot of sugar or pop, those have helped too.
Can I touch base while other people gather up some questions? I love what you were sharing about writing out your vision. It just reminded me of some things I don't talk about that often. Like, for example, after we built a full-time income, our next goal, the vision was to pay off our home. And that was a goal I had before Beachbody. I had a goal to have our home paid off by the age of 50, have $1 million in the bank, and retire. That was my big vision. And it made me think about the power of visualizing. I bought this hot tub off of Craigslist. We still have it. I bought it for like $1,000. And it was like my first big purchase after I left my job. And I remember I would go out there every single morning before the sun even come up. I would watch the sunrise, and I would like a weirdo. Like I would be sitting in my hot tub, drinking my shake, and I'd be looking at my house and my yard and be like, I can't believe this is paid off. Like this was going to take me until 60 years old and it's paid. And I spoke as if it was already happened. And the craziest thing is we set a clear, concise goal for when to pay that off. It happened 3 years earlier than that goal, but I was literally, the work was the vision, sitting out there, visualizing it, and then obviously doing everything that Sam's talked about. So when she says, write out your vision and read it every single day or speak it out every single day, like, I just want to second that. I want to second that.
For real. And if you need some help, Micah Folsom, her podcast, the 10th podcast, number 10, she actually has she walks you through how to write out your vision. So I just have my new coaches listen to that, but it just teaches you how to write it in more of a present tense, to really talk about, your future with your family, with your income, with your charitable donations, like all these different things, like what you're doing in each pocket. It makes it really real. And it changes all the time. My vision will change month to month. So, but you still have one. Yeah. Number 10.
Yeah. One day sooner than 10 years, we're going to see a post from Sam with her family at her Bear Lake cabin. That's going to be,
that makes awesome. Me cry.
And then she's going to have to come up with another vision, a bigger vision. And we're going to find out what that is too.
Yeah. Yeah. What other questions? I really would love to hear from you guys.
Don't.
Just unmute if you want to.
So I guess my question for you, Samantha, is you said you never really struggled with getting burned out, but your focus on your vision was so crystal clear and so fire that's what propelled you through the hard mental and emotional times. So that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now. And I appreciate you sharing that it's, that focus on the vision that matters. It's going to propel you through all the hard stuff, because I didn't really connect, that. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me, because I think that's really going to help push me forward, just like it did for you. Thank you.
You bet. And you guys, I don't get excited. I don't wake up excited to hit Success Club. I get excited to hit Success Club 10 because I know that's my getting into more of my Bear Lake cabin savings. Like, figure out why you get excited and be so unapologetic about sharing it with everyone. I think that's a huge difference too, is a lot of us keep those internalized because we're either embarrassed. I mean, like, even for Scotty, did you ever say, other than to your family, my house will be paid off before I'm 50?
So
even if, yeah, I would love to.
yeah, so I'll give you a small example of that. I talked about it. Like I put it on social media. Now we shouldn't be doing some of the things I did. Like I would put like 75, I took all my Beachbody money and we would put it towards the mortgage every single month. And every month it would be like, I would show a little screenshot or a photo of the $7,500 written out in the check, being like, working on paying off our goal by with a date. Now compliance does not like anything with a check or a number, but you could talk about the same thing in a different way. Just don't say the exact numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that in one of the cool things from that is that's how I attracted Brigida Linford. She'd lost her home through foreclosure. She saw like 50 people comment on that. And she just remember, she sat in her, looking at her phone being like, how does somebody pay $7,500 extra on their mortgage in a month? Like when I lost my home. And she had, she wanted to own a home again and saw that as a solution. Like, well, maybe whatever this guy is doing is working. She came and followed without ever liking or commenting or sending me a message. She was already trying to lose weight with running, was at a plateau. She bought Shakeology, bought P90X online, and her husband lost like 50 pounds together. And then she just came to me one day, similar to Samantha going to Mike and saying, I'm ready to be a coach. Brigida just messaged me to say, hey, I've been stalking you for like 6 months. I see what you do. I see how you help people. I love the products. They changed my life. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And she went on to do very similar to what Sam did. So, and it came from, that would have never happened had I not talked about the vision of what I was working towards. Had I just been like, hey, I've helped Melissa lose 10 pounds and showing transformations, I was showing what my vision was for actually building the business. And that's what attracted business builders.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I showed, because you can't share the money or anything. But I had over here, I had like this little thermometer and I would color it in. And at the top, it said Disney World. Okay. Because no one cares. No one cares what 5-star elite is. They don't know what that is on social media. Like, what? They cared that I was taking my family to Disney World. So every week I'd like color it in and be like, this much closer to Disney World. And then when they all saw me at Disney World, you guys, that was crazy. I feel like my business really blew up after my trip to Disney World, because they're like, whoa, she actually did it. Like, she's been talking about it for a year and she actually did it. So you need to talk about that. And it's going to be really scary to put it out there, but then you're going to be able to be like, oh, everybody knows. Here we go. Like, for real, it is the best feeling. It is the best feeling. And I'm not one to be like, oh, you don't think I can do it? Watch me. But there's those people that are like, she'll never have a cabin in Bear Lake. And it's like, oh, yes, I will. So it's just getting, again, still clear on what your real vision is. And for me, it's not having this nice cabin to show off. I want to create the memories with my kids that I remember my friend had growing up. She is the closest with her family. Those memories at her cabin, we already are creating memories. We love to go places, but again, I want that place so that they always have somewhere to call home. It's a place for them and their kids to be able to have fun. It's a place for just, I want everything focused around my family. And along the way, we have other little goals, of course, like different things we've paid off. And my husband wanted a tractor because we have 5 acres and that was paid off. Like, there's just other things that you can kind of say while you're getting there. But I think have the vision now and start saving now for anything, even if it's $5 a week, just start. They don't have to know how much it is from your check. Like, they don't have to know that, but just start, because it just gives you those little glimpses, and just never touch it. Like, don't touch it. Just think of something that you would love and then be able to say, oh my gosh, just from those little teeny compound effects of adding $5 a week even. I just paid off my student loans. Like, it's stuff like that that people are so related to. That is what attracts business builders. But then, of course, always showing your challenger's losing weight and your coach is losing weight. I had one coach, Faith. She's one of my strongest coaches. She's trying to get into 3-star qualification. Her whole goal and vision was to get home to her son, Dayton, because she worked full time. And she shared it every single day. I just want to make enough money to be home with Dayton. And then she finally got that just like 2 months ago. And now all she talks about is being home with him and how much she loves it and what she's missed. And this is all she's ever wanted. And now she is earning the money to build a vinyl fence around their house. And that's what she talks about. And it's little things like that, that I didn't know how much I wanted a paved driveway because it's been dirt and mud forever. And I attracted 2 coaches just from showing that, oh my gosh, you guys, my Beachbody check just paid for this black asphalt. Like, it's nothing, but to me, it's everything. Because now it's like my kids are scooter riding and it's always been mud and dirt in my house. And it's little things like that. It's funny, the things that we need as adults. Like, I look at vinyl fence and asphalt driveway and I'm like, whew, that's a lot.
I love that. Emmanuel here says, what is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself during this Beachbody coaching journey?
You are your worst enemy and your biggest cheerleader. Like, hands down. You will always be your worst enemy and your biggest cheerleader. And you have to read personal development like it's your job. Because if I don't, it's really easy to just be like, it's okay if I don't hit that goal. It's okay. Like, I'm fine, because I'm fine, but I don't want to be just fine. So I think that's the biggest thing I've learned, is the only thing that will keep you from getting to those vision and goals is listening to the mean girl, mean boy, mean critic in your head. So you are capable of it. Scotty's not lucky. I'm not lucky. Micah's not lucky. We just learned what we really wanted and we're willing to work for it, just like you guys are. Just really lean into what you really, really want. And even if it's one little small thing, just try it. Try to like put it out to the world and be like, okay, you guys, with this Beachbody business, you've kind of known that I've been a coach, but I've kind of been playing small. I'm really excited that I am about to go all in, and I'm getting ready to start saving to pay off all my student loans, or I'm getting ready to start paying for a down payment on a home for my family. Whether it takes me 6 months or 6 years, I'm willing to do it, because that hope is what everybody in the world wants. Everyone. There's very few people in the world who are financially stable. And I think that is something that people need. They need to be able to take care of themselves and become their own best cheerleader. Because you guys, when I went through that postpartum crap, if I didn't have coaching to teach me how to take care of my body, how to read personal development, how to be around a positive community, it would have been really, really bad for my family. Yeah. Always lead with vision. Always, 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 always.
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have any other questions before we wrap up? This call has been so awesome. It's like filled my soul. I love vision.
Oh, I love you guys.
Samantha, before we leave, can you put your Instagram handle in the chat?
Yep.
I'll ask one final question after I share a couple of things. At the end of this call, what I would like for you guys to do is go on your Instagram stories, share a nugget, something that you've learned from this call, from Sam's story, from some tips that she shared. Share on your Instagram stories. It's just something that you took away as a way to kind of respect and honor Sam for coming over here to our team and sharing with us. Tag her in that story so that she can see that and see what you guys have taken away from that. And she says, I want you to send me your vision. Like, how awesome would it be if you guys just went on social media, on your Instagram, and shared your vision, whether it's a small one for now or a big one, shared it and tagged me so I could see it, and tagged Samantha as well so that she could see it. I think that would be awesome.
I would love it.
Okay. My last question for you, Sam, is, aside from your Bear Lake cabin that you're going to have in probably 3 to 5 years, I'm going to say 10 years, because I know the path that you're on. What do you see yourself doing over the next 10 to 20 years? What other things would you like to accomplish?
Oh my gosh, you guys, it lights my soul on fire that just the other day, my little 10-year-old Davis, we were studying Moses and how he parted the Red Sea and all the Egyptians were buried into the Red Sea. And he says, Mom, I think I know where I want to go on my senior trip. And I'm like, where? And he's like, I want to go to Egypt and I want to see all the Egyptians dead in the water. I was like, sweet, let's do it. But it's little things like that I've told my kids, you can choose anywhere in the world and let's go there for your senior trip. And I've already put that out there because my oldest is 15. So in 3 years, we're ready to go on that trip with him. That's another vision that I share with my kids. And I'm like, Mom's doing this. So your senior year, you can choose anywhere in the world that you want to go and let's do it. And it's giving them that spirit to know what they want in life. Like my son, he's like, I want to be the first NBA and NFL player. And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. It's just little things like that I love so much. And my daughter, who struggles with anxiety, she will be next to me probably forever. She's like, I want to build my dream home in our back 5 acres so I can be close to you, Mom. And I'm like, great, let's do it. I love that they can think of anything they want because I was willing to do that too. Where I grew up, very much money's hard to earn and you're selfish if you want a lot of money and you're greedy and mean and things like that. And I have so many limiting beliefs around money. And I just see a lot of my brothers and sisters still struggling. And I want to be able to help pay for their kids' missions. I want to be able to help pay for their kids' college. I want to be able to, on their graduation day, say, here's a check for $1,000 just because I love you. And I want to be willing to do that. And I love that when I pay my tithing to my church, I've never been able to give to the mission fund or been able to give more. And I love that each month, I can be like, oh, I can help someone. And someone bore their testimony and they said, I don't know who did it, but someone paid for my son's mission this month. And I'm so grateful for that. And it just felt so good. And you don't have to tell them, you don't have to say it was me. But I was like, oh, yes. It's stuff like that I never thought I'd be able to do. And it just feels so good to give without any reciprocation, I guess. So you guys know that, but they don't know that. It's things like that. And it's just in my vision all the time, just be able to have my kids know that they can have anything. And it's not because of money. It's because you were willing to work really, really, really hard. Absolutely.
I love that. You choked me up a little bit with
I keep crying. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. You reminded me of something. I'm going to just share it as well, because I think it expands the vision, because we're so used to growing up. I think many of us with that mindset as well. Maybe money's hard to come by, but you're just going to get enough to get by type of mindset. Just some small things. This past week, my son and I, we were having a hard time. So I took him out to eat at Smitty's. It's a little breakfast place. And it's funny to kind of see that, our meal was $21 and we gave a $20 tip. The person just seemed kind of down and quiet. And then my mom even texts me, because she's my personal assistant. So she does files my receipts and everything for taxes. And she's like, did you really, she was surprised. Did you really mean to do that? Was that accident? And I'm like, no, we just did that because we did that. And she's like, oh. So it's cool to be able to do those kinds of things. I mean, and that's not even something huge, like you as a coach, when you're starting your vision, like small things like that. But you reminded me, Sam, so I just have to share this, because like doing things for yourself and for your family is cool. But when you do something for someone else, it's beyond. And I remember listening to Craig Holiday, and I don't remember the amount, but it was like $100,000 or something like that. His dad, or him with his kids, they like dropped this money off in an envelope to a family that lost their home and was struggling. And they hid in the bushes, and no one, and they put this envelope, and he watched that family just like all drop to their knees crying, and no one ever knew it was them. And I remember that like impacted me, where I was like, I want to be and do stuff like that. And the things that, like, thinking about it, the most impactful moments for me financially in my vision were letting my dad know that I'd replace his income and he could leave his job. That was about 5 years ago. And one of the other ones was, and nobody knows this as well, kind of like Sam, one year for Christmas, we got for all of my siblings, Gabby's 7 siblings, her parents, and her uncles that lived in the States, we got an envelope with $500, and we put all these envelopes with their names in one big manila envelope, and we all meet for Christmas at their house and eat dinner. And like, we snuck it out on the door earlier, and then had someone ring the doorbell, and nobody knew. And we even had one for ourselves, so no one knew it was us. Like, there was an envelope for our family too. And I just remember her uncle, who left his family back in Bolivia and was here earning money and sending back, just when he realized he got one as well, just like nobody's ever done something like this for me in my whole life. He was in Spanish, but he was just like, just blown away. And I remember just how amazing it felt to do that. So when you're thinking about your goals and vision, like Sam said, like, think bigger than just what can I do for me and my family? Like, what can we do to give to others as well? Because I think that's what feels the best, right? Cool. Well, Sam, we appreciate your time, and for what you guys, what you have shared with us about our vision. I can see everybody, I've seen tears on here, not just from you, but from coaches as well. I'm excited to see you guys share your vision.
Yeah.
Also tagging Sam and some of the things you learned in your stories. I want to see those as well. And Sam, once again, I can't wait to see you at that cabin.
Me too.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later next week.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yep. You're welcome. You did absolutely incredible. See you guys next week.